while we do have some control over where they will appear, we do not purposely target and place on channels and on videos that have malicious content or even content that is not aligned with Rockwell or Ogilvy's values. While we cannot do a detailed audit on where our ads appear, we do act swiftly in removing our ads if and when we have monitored our ads appearing in those types of content. So in my position paper, Your Honor, I've detailed there our
Yes.
targeting methods. Yeah. So just to reiterate, if we cannot do a detailed audit on where they appear. We can do an exclusion once we have monitored if they are appearing in malicious content. Thank you.
So in other words, again, like Lazada, um, you can only act on it after it has been aired, and not before. And that's something perhaps that we might have to look into, because that somebody decides where it should be uploaded. No, I mean, or unless the decision is let the algorithms decide. But should not there be a negative list, for example? Yes, we want the algorithms to guide us, but there is a negative list. And in this list, please, whoever places these ads, don't. Otherwise, it'll harm also your brand. If you we in the previous hearing, one of the issues raised by the advertising agencies is precisely brand safety and brand security, protecting the brand. And then therefore, I guess part of that then, therefore, is to ensure that your brand is not associated with garbage, for lack of a better term, di ba? So maybe that's something that we can all look into.
That it is true. Brands like Lazada, as many other advertisers, brand safety is of utmost importance. We do not want our ads to appear in places that are unsafe for our brand. When we place an ad in the implementation stage of raising an ad on Facebook or on Google, we have the option to choose opt out or exclusions. So we can choose to opt out on certain placements, whether it's via topic exclusions or content exclusions or even block lists or negative lists where we do not want our ads to appear. So that very much is sort of something that brands and advertisers are, in a sense, in control of. However, that said, we rely heavily on digital platforms like Meta and Google and their algorithms to ensure that those brand safety exclusions are implemented. In that sense, we as brands do not have any further control after we have already selected our opt outs or our exclusions. And that's why we rely on our partners to continue their efforts on screening malicious content and fake news. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, thank you. That's very interesting. That you rely on the platforms to help you execute, your opt out,
Yep.
no, your opt out option in terms of sites that you feel are not consistent with your brand. So are we saying therefore that despite the opt out option, uh, it is not being, or it is not a foolproof, fail-safe process, and that the opt-out option at times is not exercised, despite the agreement.
Yeah, so Senator, I believe that there's a lot of content that is constantly being uploaded on platforms like Facebook as well as Google. And I believe that the algorithm is a part that screens this content depending on certain tags of the
Yeah.
content. So I believe that there are cases, as we have seen, where ads get placed in content that may have been indicated in these exclusion lists. So I think it needs to continue with the diligence of the platforms to screen these content that appears or is uploaded on their platforms.
I don't fully understand this, no, but it seems like the process is let the hateful, defamatory remarks come out, and then report it, and we will take it down. I mean, for the corporations as well as for the platforms. In other words, there is at least at this point, there is little or little proactivity, being proactive in that before they are even uploaded, they are already screened, and therefore there is no need to take it down because you already precisely chose to opt out. Are you saying therefore that the opt-out option is more on paper rather than in actual practice? I mean, because the opt-out option is you've done your part, right? That you have the company. You don't want to be associated with these negative sites, these sites that precisely come up with garbage. But then the ball is now with the platforms to ensure, based on their knowledge of the algorithms, that these sites, that you stay clear of these sites. I mean, that's their obligation, right? Precisely why they're asking for your money. In return, they will also protect your brand by not allowing your ads to come out in these garbage sites. I mean, that's what I think. Theoretically, that's what I understand the arrangement to be. Tama ba yun? Is that right?
Hi, Your Honor. That is correct. As advertisers, we place our ads on these platforms to be able to reach our target audiences. The whole point of the brand safety is to make sure our brands do not appear in potentially libelous content. And as a responsible brand, we update our negative list on an ongoing basis. Negative lists, including channels which are associated with libelous content. So the role of brands is to be vigilant in ensuring that they, follow brand safety guidelines. They opt out of certain content where their ads may appear. But again, as with any advertiser placing on a platform, we do expect that the platform also continues to do their due diligence in ensuring that the opt-in guidelines are upheld.
The Ad Standards Council, Your Honor, is formed for the purpose of promoting truth in advertising. However, it is focused on content, and it has no control over the platforms over which our members place their advertising materials. So we just screen the materials on the basis of content and whether they conform to law and the code of ethics that we have. Beyond that, we do not already control our members insofar as the platforms are concerned.
So we have a few self-service tools that advertisers can use, and that includes agencies which support advertisers. Things like placement opt-outs, so people can opt out of placements in certain areas of our ad network.
First, yes, we strive to do better. On ads, we're talking about enormous scale. If I look at some of the figures we release every year, a summary of our ad safety, just to give you some figures, just to explain how big this is. Just in 2020, we removed 1.3 billion publisher pages. And we stopped ads being served on over 150,000 publisher sites. And I can go on with such numbers. So this is an area where we need to be as nimble as we can, but also deal with scale. So it's difficult, and so we need to continually improve, as other platforms do, whether it's to fight scams or protecting against misinformation. So